Yep.
It is.
Okay, good morning or afternoon, depending when you watch this. Look, this is a very. Oh,
It's now live.
oh, it's now live. Okay, good morning. In case you didn't hear it before. This is a fairly quick one. There's a few things that we want to cover. First up, I've put an article up which is about two things. It's about a rock that Roz sent us that we've put up, which is quite a fascinating rock, but I've only done a short story on that because Roz has got the rock and it is amazing, but we've never personally seen it, so it's more an introduction to what Roz thinks about the rock. And when you see a couple of pictures, you think that's unusual, which it is. The main part of the story is about the Yowies that we've been dealing with at the moment. And yes, some people are going to raise their eyebrows and think, what the hell are you guys doing that for? Well, the reason we're doing it is because we've got something in the bush, around the bush, banging on the side of the house, banging on trees near the house, stomping around the side of the place, and making vocal noises on a nearly 3 to 4 times a week for the last 6 weeks. It's been non-stop. Now, we don't know what it is for sure because we don't have a picture. Although I've got to make one point. On about our 15th encounter, I went out the back door, walked 3 steps, and there was a banging on the wall around the corner, no more than 3 meters from where I stood. And I still remember to this day there were 9 distinct bangs against that wall. And what I should have done was walked round the corner and shook hands. What I did instead was skulk back inside and lock the doors. Now, it's continued since then, and to begin with, I've got to be honest, for about 10 or 11 episodes, I still tried to find a way of sort of dismissing this and finding an excuse for it. And then one night, I went to bed, and about 3 seconds after I lay down, I heard this female grunt because we've had him in the bedroom. And I don't care what people say, whether they think it's right or wrong, it's right. We've heard these noises in the bedroom. On this particular occasion, because I'd heard the male noise quite a few times, I'd never heard a female grunt. I sort of looked around, but it was pitch black and I couldn't see anything. And after a couple of seconds, I thought, why am I doing this? So I lay down, closed my eyes, and then 3 seconds later, the house lit up. The light in the lounge room, and the lounge room, it shone all the way through the lounge room, down the hall, into the bedroom, and lit up the bedroom. And for about a half a minute, I thought, oh, I just put up with it. I can't be bothered anymore. Then I finally thought, no, this is distracting. It's just impossible to sleep in there. Now, what you'd think you'd do, if you'd heard a voice in the night, then someone turn on a light. And I've got a tennis racket close by. You'd walk down the hallway with the tennis racket because you would think there's someone in the house, because there is, or something. I didn't. I knew it was there. I knew she turned the light on, and I went there, and the switch was down. I turned it off and went back to bed. And it was then I decided, well, no, this has gone too far. We have to write about it. Works like this. We wait to be asked by elders to come onto country and talk about their sites. We don't go onto anyone's place unless they ask us first. Same thing with the Yowies. It's pretty obvious to me when she turned the light on, she wanted us to talk about it, and that's what we're doing. So primarily the article we've put up is about that. Now, Evan, I think, has also posted our next online conference. And yeah, our numbers aren't great. They haven't been, ever since the shadow ban, when we're up around 1,000, and then we just went down to about 100 the time after the shadow ban started, and it's continued to this day. And we're trying to get around it, but it's a difficult process. Now, the next 3 online conferences are based around 2 words the Hopi gave in all their prophecies, and repeated and repeated and repeated. They said that if you don't know the old teachings, blackfellas call it old ways, it's the same thing. When this change comes, you will not be part of it. Well, we believe the change is going to take place at the end of the 3rd summer solstice, which is coming up in December. And therefore, our last 3 online conferences will be about old way teaching, old teachings, old ways. And we've got Trudy up first. an original elder from this region around here, and she's going to talk about women's business. And Trudy is really on song with this at the moment, and she's a very aware and awakened individual that's really locked in and is sort of quite interesting. She spent a lot of time with the rocks we've got here. She's been on ceremony with them, and it's had an impact on her. Both good and bad, but in the long run, good. So we're going to be doing that, and we'd invite you to come and join us. We'll be talking about Old Way also, and that will be the theme, and it'll continue like that until December. Our last online conference under this sort of hat will be at the beginning of September. Then we'll work out what we do next year after the 21st and the 3rd solstice. So we invite you to come and join us to that one. It will be interesting, and Trudy's a fascinating speaker, great entertainer, and really is on song at the moment. She actually works around here as the custodian of the languages. So she is a legitimate Old Way custodian and has a lot to teach us, and is really quite on song with what's taking place in relation to the change too. So it's a double-edged thing. So we invite you to have a look at the article on the Yowies, and if you feel it's interesting, please pass it on, because we can't do that. And conversely, if you think the idea of people listening to a story about original Old Way culture is of interest to you or to others, let them know, because they're not going to find out any other way, that's for sure. So please, I'm going to keep this fairly short, and I have. In fact, I think this is the shortest I've ever done one, which is only 7 minutes. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, and soon up. Oh, by the way, one last thing. We did put up some ebooks on the Conversations with Mesref. It's called Conversations with an Alien. But we've actually taken the book off the shelves at the moment, because what we did was, Leah and I both wrote some introductory chapters, and then what we did is we pressed a button and we transcripted I think 11 of the talks we've done with Mesref, and from a transcript it takes the word that's spoken and then prints it out. And what happened was this: Leah's stuff and Mesref's stuff came out really well. Everything I said with my thick Australian accent was a disaster. Honestly, some of it is unreadable. And unfortunately, the assumption was made that it would come out word for word the same, so it wasn't really checked that much, if at all. And as a result, it kills what Mesref has said. It destroys it, because you keep reading the comments I've made and think, who is this idiot? This guy doesn't get a thing. Well, what we've had to do is I've gone through it and crossed out whole sections, and I'm working on it at the moment. In a couple of days I'll have that fixed up. Then we'll go back to Leah and we'll get a reprint done. So we are onto that, but bear with us for a couple of weeks. We can't put it out as it is, but it will be coming out soon. So ladies, I've now gone to 8 minutes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us, and hopefully you'll come and join us at our next online conference, or if not, please read the article. You'll find it fascinating. It's quite long, because I've had to put in 16 episodes with the Yowies, and there's more that have happened since. But it gives you a feel for the fact that in the bush around here, there's something in there. I don't know what it is. I really don't. I haven't seen it, but I've done everything else but that. Until next time, thank you. And I'll try and turn this off. And I did.